How do you do there, folks? My name's Fred Thompson. I'm going to talk to you about gang stalking and try to explain a little bit about this program that's being initiated all over the country. Now, I don't even know where to begin, really. I guess that the first things first. I'm going to have to start from the beginning and tell you what I think got me into this program, and what things contributed to me being put into this program. But the only way I know to do this is to go back to the beginning and tell you my point of view from the beginning when I first thought that I was being gang stalked. Okay, it all started, I think, when I signed up for disability. I am diagnosed with bipolar, but the real truth is I have multiple sclerosis, and it's very hard to get diagnosed with MS if you don't have money. So I went into the Social Security office and I signed up, and I was telling them my back was hurting. I had all these problems, and that I had MS, and they would tell me, well, you have to have a diagnosis, and we can't give you a disability for something you don't have a diagnosis for. But the thing is, the welfare system's not going to diagnose me with MS because it costs $120,000 a year for a person with MS, and they're just not going to pay that for me. Which I don't have the disease that bad. Mine's very mild, but I went ahead and took the check anyway, and they diagnosed me with bipolar, which I didn't argue. I just said, okay, well, whatever whatever you say, doc. I went and seen their doctor, and funny thing is, when I went to see the doctor, I had these dizzy spells in the office. So I'm not going to lie to you, folks. I think this whole Social Security thing is a big hoax. I think that this is the main grounds of their hunting for this program. This is their recruitment for this program, the Social Security office. Now, I did a lot of things. I did some protesting. I went traveling. I went to the Oklahoma City bombing building. I've been to Oklahoma. I think a lot of this started in Oklahoma, but it could have started before I left. I purchased a rare RV after I got my disability, and I decided to go traveling. And I went to Oklahoma, and I was traveling around in my RV and seeing the sights, and I went into the building that got blown up, and took a bunch of photos, videos. I made some videos. You'll probably see my videos later. But yes, I made videos, and then I went over to the Capitol building, not knowing that the FBI was in the Capitol building, because when they blew up the Oklahoma City bombing building, they moved all the FBI over to the Capitol. Okay, so I walked in there with my camera, not knowing that I was going to be, looked at by these people. And they started looking at me, and from that point forward, I think, because they took my ID at the door, and I went in and got my photos and hung out in Oklahoma for quite a while. I seen all the sights, everything you could see in Oklahoma. I went to Wichita after that. I made as far as Wichita, and then I spilled a chemical in my RV, and I had to come back home. The whole time after that, I was being stalked and tracked by the police in Oklahoma and Kansas, and they were approaching me, and it's like to get away from them, I went out in the cornfield and just hung out for a while, and here they show up in a cornfield, 5 or 6 of them. They finally had the nerve to come out and talk to me, but yeah, they found out who I was, and well, they already know who I was. I think they just put me into this program, because they said, oh, okay, we got a guy here traveling, living on the check, and living the fruits of life. Let's put him to work and put him in this government program we have here. But yeah, folks, I came back from Oklahoma. I got tired of being tracked by the police down there, and when I got back here, I decided to sell the RV and I checked into. I had an ear infection. I was working on the RV because the RV got rear-ended before I left, and that's another thing. Before I left, I don't know if this may be what got me put into this program. Also, I don't know for sure, but before I left Oklahoma, I was hanging out in Starbucks and playing a bunch of videos on MS and CCSVI, which is a cure for MS that is not being told to the public. Well, it is now. I mean, this is a couple years ago. And the cat's out of the bag on CCSVI. If you're interested in that, you can look it up. There's a doctor from Italy that found out that the venous system of the neck gets clogged up, and the veins within the neck get kinked up like a water hose does, and causes the blood to backflow into the brain, which causes an iron buildup, and that's usually what kills the MS patients. But I was playing these videos, and in all these Starbuckses, and how that MS was a virus, and other things that or go along with MS. Everything that was hidden about MS, I was trying to bring out and show to the public. And that may be what got me put on the list also, because when you go against the medical field like that, and you start opening up doors and opening up people's minds to there's a cure out there for a disease, and this guy Jerry Lewis raised all this money and they did nothing for these people, but treat them with a bunch of drugs, when a simple $10,000 treatment could cure them of the disease altogether. But anyway, make a long story short, I got heavy into it, and I wasn't really bad off with MS. I have it, but it's not really bad in me, and I'll probably live a long time with it. But I don't know if that's what got me put on the list, or going into the FBI building. But I know one thing: when I got back to Houston, I started to work on the RV, because I did get rear-ended about the time I was playing all those videos, and about CCSVI and all that. So that may have been a shut up gesture. A guy just came out of nowhere and rear-ended me, and then hits and run. He hit and run. I came back from Oklahoma, and I started to work on the RV and get it fixed up, and I decided to sell it. And I go to the doctor for this ear infection, and they give me this drug that just literally destroys my body. And it put me out of commission for over 6 to 7 months. I was at my brother's house for at least a good 2 months, and couldn't walk or get out of bed, barely move. If I moved too fast, a tendon would rupture. And the way Cipro works is, anything you do, if you have the drug in your system at the time, anything you do, if you move your arm real fast like that, you're going to rip a tendon in your arm or your elbow, or any quick movements. You have to be real careful, because you can't use anything for a very long length of time, because it'll the tendons will start to literally what it does is it turns your tendons to butter. And anything you do, you just picture your tendon is real soft, and then you use it and it starts to rip and tear. That's what Cipro does, and that goes for your eyes and your ears as well. Because if you're listening to music while you're on this drug, your ears have 2 bones that vibrate, that make the sound against the drum, and within those 2 bones are held together by some tendons. And see, when the vibration is really fast or loud, those tendons get stretched and torn, so it messes up the auditory system, the brain, the hearing. It messes up everything. It messes your eyes up. If you're using your eyes at the time, tendons will rip in your eyes. I mean, it's a horrible drug. It'll destroy your life. Don't ever take it, Cipro or any other quinolones. I'm going to get into the whole quinolone thing here in a little bit. I'm going to have to make this video short. I'll have to continue with this introduction video and make a part 2, because I'm going into my 10 minutes here. But yeah, I'm going to talk a little about quinolones and how the government's using the quinolones as a depopulation drug also. And they're not just using it in the hospitals. They're using it on people in the public. They're using it on protesters. They're using it on anybody in this program. They're using it if you're allergic to it. But, okay, folks, I'm going to have to cut off for a second. And if you'd like to see the second introduction to this video, just go to